we came out of organics, we had this field was in the grass Clover Ley at that point in time, as was that side over there. And it was to get it out of a grass Clover Ley and put it into a cereal crop. It went into wheat. We needed to plough it, really. So it was ploughed, and it was seen as a good opportunity at the time. We've moved away from plough-based systems to till, and move more into direct drilling systems as well, and different drilling systems and different management systems. But we've always decided to leave this field as a plough-based system. So for the last, this is 7 years, this has been following our rotation out here. Well, again, our rotations are always kind of transformed, but it's stuck pretty rigidly for the last 3-4 years at winter wheat, winter barley, winter oilseed rape. Our other farm is winter wheat, spring barley, oilseed rape, because we use digestate over there, and we need an opportunity to put that on. Over here we have opted for winter barley to get the earlier entry in for rape. So I'll hand over to Tony to say a bit about the management.
The bulk of the farm we're now off of the Cotswold Brash, so we're on to a heavier clay soil. We were running, when we came out of this section of the farm of organics, we ran a wheat oilseed rape rotation for about 3 years, and then we put winter barley into the rotation just to stretch it a bit and give me that entry into oilseed rape, as Nikki has alluded to. The trial that Nikki was talking about, where she's looked at different cultivation systems, we were sort of looking more and more into direct drilling to show our students. 5 years ago, Jeff Claydon approached us and said, we'll come and drill a field for you, but I want the same field year on year, because it'll take at least 4 or 5 years to see the difference. So we started drilling with a Claydon drill. We've done 5 harvests with a Claydon drill on one field. Following on from that, the following year we thought we would investigate some other direct drills, because we find with our students, they come to us in end of September, early October. So the autumn and the spring terms, they're out on farm, are not very keen. They're into exams in May and June, so you don't see students on farm much after the Easter break. So it's pointless doing a lot of research work or demonstration work with fungicides and growth regs, etc., because they don't see other results. Whereas establishment trials are brilliant. You know, they're very visual. They can see the pros and the cons of all these systems. So the following year, as I say, we've been ploughing this field year in, year out since we came out of organic. And then I've got 3 other fields that we'll pass through. We've assigned 1 to the Missouri drill, 1 to the Seed Hawk drill, and 1 to the Cross Slot drill. So again, every year that field is drilled with that drill through the rotation. Unfortunately, the Claydon field is slightly out of step. That's in oilseed rape this year, in winter wheat, and I can't really sort of tweak the rotation to get them in. And we can again compare our direct drills with good old ploughed power harrow drill, and then the rest of the arable area tends to be min-till. So we have a comparative across 3 different systems on the same farm. It's not statistically valid, but it's a good indication to our students of the pros and cons of each of the systems.
And it's interesting because they often look very different throughout the season. You know, sometimes you think, oh gosh, that's never going to do. And then when you get the analysis, and I'll talk about the analysis because it reflects a bit what we're seeing on the big replicated trial, in a way, that dry years and wet years behave differently. Can I get David Main to come up? David was going to join us in the livestock other meeting, and he's kindly come up to join us. So David's joined us quite recently from University of Bristol, and I'll hand over to him to say a few words.
Hi there, my name's David Main. My interest is in animal health and welfare, and so I could talk a little bit about the calf unit we've got here and what we're trying to do with that as an example. We're at the REU, obviously we're really keen on working with industry and particularly getting involved in the policy areas. And so the calf unit we've got is a standard batch in 3 weeks, they go at 12 weeks here because they're kept in. It's less of an issue with the TB extra, and it's a good teaching resource, so that's good from that point of view. But there's some interesting issues with these are mostly black and white Holstein Friesian bull calves, of which so. And also, this system is quite dependent upon antibiotics. So there's issues there that really bother the food industry. So actually, the meeting today was and that involves retailers that really want to manage those two risks, as killing baby animals and giving them too much antibiotics. So what we're doing is trying to tweak the current system by seeing if there are other alternatives to antibiotics. To be honest with you, there isn't much really. At the end of the day, I mean, there's 80 calves in there coming from 40, 50 farms, so it is a recipe for our use of antibiotics. So there's a system issue there, and then also working with dairy farmers to see if we can persuade dairy farmers to keep them a bit longer. And give them colostrum, etc. This is the male black and whites, because actually the food industry really likes male black and whites because they're very standardised and actually they're very good eating qualities because they're muscular fat. So they're valued by the food sector. So that's an example of the sort of thing we're particularly driven by the interests of retailers, etc.
Yeah. And I think you've also done some work on, so you haven't you, just kind of...
Yeah, we're really interested in knowledge exchange and how to maximise the expertise of farmers. It's a statement of bleeding obvious, but my area of expertise is from the veterinary side, and the training that we still are training vets to do is that vets they're the knowledge providers. They have all the answers, and you go out there and you tell the farmers what to do because they don't know how to farm. But funnily enough, actually, vets don't know how to farm. Farmers know how to farm. Vets know about diseases. So we have still have, I would say, the problem in the veterinary community. They're taught the mantra of the knowledge is the key. Actually, it's not the key. It's how you work with farmers. So I can see some of the audience know about it, but basically what it was trying to flip the idea. So this was farmers coming up with their own ideas of challenges they wanted to solve, and they designed their own trials to do it, and then they got scientists to provide those solutions. So it's scientists on tap, not on top. It's the old Winston Churchill quote. It serves us quite well, and actually the farmers loved it, did lots of really good stuff. This was an EU project, and they really drove change on their farm. But actually the scientists changed how they work, which was a really valuable exercise for the scientists. They realised that actually they don't know about farming, and to focus on the ground, but their scientific expertise was valued, and so they were happy in that role. And a key for that, making that process work, is all about facilitation. It's active but carefully managed facilitation, bringing in the expertise at the right, and that's the thing that made that happen. And also using other people in the food chain. So it was about getting involved, the retailers and the processors, whoever it was in the food chain, really helped make that happen. So that was a very positive thing. And so those are the sorts of areas that we are doing in other sectors too. At the RAU, we're very keen on that farmer-led approach.
It might be worth mentioning that Hennovation resources have found their way onto agroecology. So that is just need to remember one, and that's agroecology, and it's all going to go there.
Yeah, Hennovation YouTube clip is a really nice, simple summary of what the process was. It's only a 5-minute clip, and it just summarises the process, and it's supposed to be empowering, and it is about what is possible. So you don't have to have expensive projects designed by researchers. Just crack on and design things that matter at the farm level.
Yeah, what's even more annoying is they've had extensive projects, they have produced interesting outcomes, and nobody can find them. That's what really bugs me, and that's why we try to do what we do here, to see it's still available.
Yeah.
Just a quick question on the system here. What determines which land you went back into non-organic and which?
When just a brief reason for the conversion of the whole farm into organic was working with 2 other farms locally that had gone into what they thought was going to be a stockless organic system by using red clover and mulching it as green manure. They then realised that even on Cotswold Brash, the amount of land you need to mulch red clover through a summer period is very intensive and very expensive. So they approached RAU with a view to grazing sheep, attack grazing sheep. But because of the scale of the operation and obviously conventional sheep on the 120-day ruling, that wouldn't work. So we actually converted this entire farm. At that stage we were farming, we probably had about 2,000 ewes in 2 separate flocks. And so we actually, they were conventional. We actually converted this farm fully to organic, 20 miles between farthest points. You actually want big groups that you sort of basically mob graze and then move on. So it didn't work very well, and also the knowledge transfer back to students wasn't working. So we actually decided to pull out of that and revert back to our own smaller sheep flock. And at that point, then we actually purchased Harn Hill Farm in 2009. We were tenants of it before, and because there was lots of research stuff and demonstration stuff we wanted to do that we couldn't do because it was organic, so we thought, right, well, we'll retain the organic area and go back to conventional on the rest of it. So that was the reasoning behind that. So the area that we were on, most of that was organic when we came to the farm in '88. We did increase the organic area slightly ourselves in about 96, 94, 96. And then, as I say, the whole farm went organic, and then the rest of it came back out again. So that's sort of the brief potted history of it. So at least it's given us the ability to sort of have a range of crops and a range of systems on the same farm again, which was always our strong point before we converted the whole farm to organic in the first place. Okay.